On this week's episode of the Fizz, you have the Fizz men talking about what it was like to walk around Greektown and capture content before the Detroit Lions took on the Atlanta Falcons at Ford Field this week. After that, we talk about the Lions game and how they took care of business versus Atlanta at home. Then we break down the rest of the NFL in a shorter episode for you guys on this Monday. But before we get into all of that, I want you guys to hear this very seductive and sultry ad from our main sponsor, the best RTD made in Michigan, Vosa. Give it a listen, guys.
Hear that? That's vodka water by Vosa. No bubbles, no problem. Just water, premium vodka, natural fruit juice, and flavors in a can. The perfect beverage for any summer occasion. Made in Michigan for Michigan at Vosa Spirits.
Welcome to episode 117 of The Fizz. Thank you all for joining us. We are here on Sunday evening at the tail end of the 4 o'clock games. I got the main men with me. Ice Cold Brew Lou, how we doing?
Doing good, baby. Great Lions victory today. Awesome buzzing around Greektown. What a fucking win. Go Lions.
And Channy Football.
Feels good to be 2-1. Nice bounce back. Go 1-1 in your barn and get ready for the road.
Absolutely. Today, I feel like the theme song is just taking care of business.
That's right.
Taking care of business. It was not the prettiest win in the world. Wasn't ugly either. It was just kind of a forgettable game that the better team won at home, I felt like.
Yeah. And I think, the thing about it is we could be mad about last week. We can be disappointed about last week. But if you would have told us at the start of the season we're 2-1 going into Lambeau week 4, I think all three of us sign off on it.
Yeah, absolutely. We probably just expect to flip that Seattle and that Kansas City game.
Exactly.
Like we've been saying this whole time.
100%. And we were harping on getting no pressure, no sacks last podcast. And would we do this today?
4 or 5 sacks.
4 or 5 sacks, yeah.
Yep.
I know Hutch had 2.
Yep.
The guguy we didn't know got 1.
Campbell got 1 at the end
Barnes
of the half.
got 1.
Yep, Barnes got 1.
Yeah, so
Yep.
the pressure was there, which was nice to see. You can't figure out the NFL from week to week.
Just a dominating game. We only gave up 3 points each half. Came to play on defense. Offense scored when we needed them to. Pretty easy win, I want to say, for the most part.
It's pretty good. But before we do the game, let's talk about the game before the game.
Okay, of course.
Yeah, so me and Lou downtown today. We got the video coming out. Probably producer Mike's working on it like right now, so we'll have that Sunday night. So you guys probably already seen it by the time you're listening to this. I'm trying to line up all like what comes out when and what we're doing. But me and Lou hit Greektown today with producer Mike. Gotta say, like arguably the nicest day of the year.
Oh, dude, it was beautiful out.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
Yeah, it was gorgeous.
It was almost like, and it was a little cooler than the first tailgate, so we weren't like sweating our bags off out there. Nice breeze. It was a nice little switch up from Eastern Market. We said we didn't see as many of the costumes and like the full tailgate blowout. It was a little bit more like on the run, but the interviews were out of this world on this one. There was some people out in space, some guys wearing boots, some people were just fried.
there was kind of the collection of all of it. I mean, we had conspiracy theorists, we had Browns fans, we had Atlanta fans, we had guys selling drugs out of the back of dumpsters and alleys. It was just fucking wild. We had guys really dedicated to their parking jobs, guys who said they drink no matter what when they're on their job.
Yep.
Just an eclectic group out in the city of Detroit for every tailgate.
Absolutely. Some really good stuff. The video is going to be great.
Now, was it actually cooler, or did you just not wear a turtleneck and a mask this time?
I do think the no turtleneck and mask definitely cooled me off, but
Okay.
it was cooler to start the day. It actually got a little toasty at the end.
It did.
But the cool weather at the beginning was very welcome. It was kind of like that first, feel of fall, that chill coming through.
So where did you guys actually go? I know you said you were bopping around like the Greektown area, right?
Yeah. So we started We started it behind Firebird.
Okay.
There wasn't much going
Right
on
there.
behind Firebird. And then as we were kind of crossing the Firebird parking lot into that open parking lot
Yeah.
that's towards Gratiot,
Yep.
that's when we ran into the conspiracy theorist
There we
who
go.
said there was Neuralink talking to the refs before plays even
That
started.
was the second interview of the day, too.
I wasn't ready. I'll be completely honest.
We
I
were
wasn't
still
ready
warming
at all.
up.
Yeah, I was not loose yet. I had no drinks in me, and this guy just jumped on, and it was Neuralink conspiracy that the script is old news. It was nuts.
Shout out Jesse James.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, his name was Jesse fucking
It's
James.
unforgettable, really.
Literally, I was stopped dead in my tracks. I thought we had enough content for the whole day right after the first interview. So we made it there, and then we kind of like snaked through that parking lot and then went across whatever that side street is there, and the Harbor House parking lot.
Yeah.
That is where like the
lot of action
the
there.
electric factory was kind of popping off. They had that big wrap truck going that was like blasting "Welcome to Detroit."
Yep. And then they had the lion on top of the SUV.
Yep.
They had a bunch of good setups. We signed the poster. They had that one poster.
They were really
up.
nice. They gave us Jello shots, had us sign the poster. We're asking all about the account, and then we met some guy from Alabama who just kept saying "One Pride, Roll Tide."
Yes, that guy was awesome.
Yeah, he rocked too. He was wearing ostrich skin boots.
He was so jacked up to be part of the pod, and the boots were just out of this world.
Yeah.
Now, how was the overall atmosphere? Like last week, I don't know about you guys. To me, it felt like a holiday.
Yeah.
Like it was a gathering. Everyone was joyous. Like, was it still energetic? Was it like, slight bump in the road last week, we're still going to kick some ass today? Was it like more like business? Was it nervous? Like, what was the whole energy and aura at the tailgate today?
I would say that definitely week one, or first home game, the one that we went to in Eastern Market, was more like you said, Chandler, like more holiday-esque, like a big party. This was like, it was a little more down to business. Everyone was very confident that the Lions were going to win this game.
Good.
There were a couple people out there, your SOL fans, that wanted to talk a little bit of shit. But for the most part, everyone was straight business. It was boozing. It was gritty Detroit. It was a good time, but it was a straight up tailgate. Not a holiday, straight up tailgate.
Yep. Yeah, I think, to call any of that business is like hilarious. I get what you're saying. But to call any of what we witnessed out there business is just like, I don't know, it's funny to me. But they, I agree. Like it was still a straight party and a ton of confidence and a ton of energy. The Eastern Market one just felt like the entire world was there though too. Like everyone in the world was at that game. Mm-hmm. And we knew nothing yet. So that's how that went, I would say. But yeah, it was good. It was good. And we actually got like, at the end of the tailgate, we started walking down Brush Street. And they were trying to think of like what to call that, because that's where everyone kind of funnels in, and it's just like there's so many people walking that way, and that's where we actually met a bunch of people at the end of the day that were just like peak drunk about to go into the stadium.
We went through quote unquote Death Valley.
Yeah, Death Valley.
And it was just bodies were rigor mortis.
That's
there.
the mouth of the Mississippi.
It was.
Everything's flowing right there.
Yeah, it was nuts. And the things that people say to you, and you get that camera out there and the mic in front of people, and you just never know what you're gonna get. Yeah. So it was good. It was good. Next week, we'll go somewhere else. If someone has a suggestion of where we should go, we'll check it out. But honestly, I've only really tailgated in Greektown or Eastern Market.
Yeah,
so
same.
I don't know where the next spot's gonna be.
I mean, hey, who knows? Maybe we go over into Corktown. Maybe we go to Nemo's.
Yeah.
What's that bar on the other side of the freeway? A lot of Tigers pre-games are there.
Not Hockey Town Cafe.
No, not Hockey Town Cafe. I'm thinking of Nemo's. I'm thinking of Corktown.
It's right by the Fillmore.
Yes. It's right by.
I know what you're talking about.
Is it? It's not Checker Bar, is it?
Not State Street.
No.
Or State Bar.
I'll think of it. I'll get to it before we get Harry's.
Oh yeah, Harry's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
for
you got
sure.
Harry's. You got like Temple Bar over there. You got Bookies over there. Like that might be a good area to pop.
We could probably
around,
just
too.
roam the streets.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Or hey, let's hear from the Fizz Army.
Yeah. So let us know.
Yeah.
Let us
Let us know
know.
where you guys set your tailgates up at.
Yeah, shoot us a DM. Let us know where you're at. We'll come see you, hang out, pop the mic in your face, and then
Talk some shit.
Yeah, we should talk some
Drink
shit.
some drinks.
Yeah, exactly. That's all we're doing.
And let the Kool-Aid flow.
Yeah. So yeah, good stuff. Good tailgate. Good energy still. And Lions are 2-1. Lions are 2-1.
Lions are 2-1, and as we alluded to on the rip, much better effort this week. Sub 200 yards for the Falcons. That was big. I don't think Falcons are world beaters. I don't even know if they're a playoff team, but what do? You're supposed to protect home court, A, and B, you're supposed to beat the teams that you're supposed to beat in the NFL, and that's what the Lions did today. They protected the den, no pun intended. It really wasn't like a wow game. Like, obviously, that pass to Laporta, the touchdown pass, was one of their big hits. But other than that, it was kind of just a grinded out type of game where nothing flashy really happened and no real huge mistakes on the field happened either.
Right.
Yeah.
It was the Brian Dawkins Branch show today, folks. 11 tackles, 3 for a loss. He was all over the field. I mean, defensively, Robinson had 33 yards. Alger had 12. Ritter had 3. I mean, they just couldn't run the ball, and Ritter stinks, so didn't have to worry about him throwing anything. And we were swarming on defense, boys. We were out there making tackles and sacks galore.
Yeah, I think collectively, overall, as a defensive unit, awesome game. Brian Branch, like you said, I think was like the marquee name out there. Someone DM'd me and was like, should we start calling him the Shark? Because he's wearing the mouth guard on his helmet.
Yeah.
And I kind of like it. I want to see how his game keeps playing out, but the Shark, I think, could be a cool nickname, especially if he's rocking that fin up top.
The little fin up there.
I thought just notes on if someone did play. I thought Jerry Jacobs again is definitely the weakest part on defense right now.
Need Mosley back.
He had 2 or 3 penalties, I think,
Yep.
a couple PIs. He kind of, whenever there is a big mistake or a breakdown, you kind of can always trace it back to him. Sutton got beat, I think, for the first time this year, but he's been absolutely
Been locked down.
rock solid. And welcome back, Tracy Walker. Buddy, all you had to do, though, is grab one of those interceptions that fell right in your lap or right in your chest, and it would have been a perfect day. But I'm happy to see you back. Seems like he's got his confidence, and good to know we have so much depth at that position.
Yes, it is, and that was by far our weakest area of the defense last year was in our secondary, and that seems to have flipped, even with the early season injuries that we have with Joseph right now, with Gardner Johnson. It seems like we have more depth now. I want to correct myself. We had 7 sacks today.
Holy shit.
For the Lions.
And did we not have one?
We had one
through
in
2
the
games?
first 2 weeks, and that was from Anzalone. So, big game. I also want to shout out Branch played like a monster. I feel like he's like almost a Tyrann Mathieu. Like, he has ball skills. He's physical.
He was all over
He's
the
very
place.
instinctive. He runs downhill.
Yeah.
But I also want to shout out our other rookie, Jack Campbell. Didn't get as much playing time as we would have liked to see last week. Got some more playing time, not as much as I still like to see this week, but had a sack at the end of the first half and had a couple nice tackles throughout the game. It was encouraging to see him because our second rounders, Laporta and Branch, have been playing so much better than our first rounders, Gibbs and Campbell. It was just good to see Campbell get a couple plays, and he had or was in on 6 tackles today, 3 solo, 3 assists.
And I always think it's funny, you have a game like today, they score no touchdowns, we hold them under 200 yards, and then Glenn is back as the D coordinator, and it's
Right.
last week I was reading he's probably on the hot seat, and from last year, from being the worst defense in NFL history to having a good enough defense, I just feel like he just goes up and down with what people want to think about him. But today looked good, and it's just one of those games to me though where it's I'm happy we took care of business, 20-6, really good defensive effort, but the offense really has got to just put these teams away.
Yep.
I think they're playing well. I think they're playing good enough. I think Goff is playing smart, but they got to put teams away when they have the chance. We let them hang around in that game for just way too long. If they break one play, one special teams thing, it's a 1-possession game, and now we're teetering with a 1-2 record type deal. So I don't like how we're not closing the door, and we could have done it versus Seattle too, and we just did not.
And that's going to hurt you against good teams. We saw it last week when we were up 14-7, kind of dicked around, made some bad decisions. When you let good teams hang around, eventually they're going to hit on some plays. And I agree 100% with you. It was a 10-point game that felt like a 3-touchdown game, basically the whole duration of the game today. But like you mentioned, W is a W, and it's always good to come out with a victory on an NFL Sunday against any team in any situation.
Yeah, no, I agree, boys. And shout out to Hutchinson for stepping up. He had 2 sacks on the day, and Steady Eddie Amra, the guy doesn't miss. 9 grabs, over 100 yards.
He wore steel on his foot today so he could play. He wore a steel-toed cleat or something like that.
Is that the grit of grit?
Yeah.
That's blue-collar, baby.
And we need him out there. It's just, unreal. Khalif Raymond getting a few touches. Don't sleep on the Serpent. I think he's solid as hell. He's slippery. He finds holes. Have we even mentioned Laporta yet today?
No, we have not.
Yeah. So, Sam Laporta, congrats. First touchdown of your career. He's looking rock solid.
He looks awesome.
Yeah.
84 yards, 8 catches. Really good. He had a good game last week as well, so it's good seeing him being tight end number 1 right now. Him and Amon-Ra accounted for basically 75% of our receptions today. So between those two, those are the 2 guys we really need to step up until week 7 when we see what we got. in the hopper.
Yeah, and since we're just making our rounds on the offense, Jahmyr Gibbs has definitely, like, I don't want to say let me down, but it's definitely what he's done. I just wish he would have found pay dirt, or I don't want to fully put it on him, but, like, you know, before this season, they're like, we're going to draw these things up for Gibbs, we're going to do all this for Gibbs, blah, 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 and I just feel like it hasn't really been there outside of maybe a couple plays, but I just feel like they haven't drawn up what we would want to see, but maybe that's part of the fucking, you know, that's how it goes, you know. Maybe you tell everyone you're going to do something and then you don't, and it's just all mind games, so who knows.
Yep. I'm hoping they have a little more in store for him. I mean, he had a good day today, 80 yards on the ground, a catch or two here, but just
he had 80 yards today?
Yeah, he had 80 yards on 17
carries. He almost averaged 5 yards a carry, too.
Well, that's way more than I guess it's just not as flashy or as explosive as we think.
Not.
So
That's
it's like,
what it is.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
if he adds a touchdown in there, then it's like, wow, what a day.
And versus Kansas City, it was like, dude, this guy fucking, like, is explosive.
Shifty. Yes.
Yeah. Like, why aren't we getting him the ball more? So, yeah, maybe it's just we're waiting for that big, like, electric 75-yard, like, scamper. Because Swift gave us a few of those last year.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, you know, I think Goff was good outside the one pass. I actually thought he was, like, really dialed today. And he has a rushing touchdown. Holy shit. His first one since 2020. I mean.
Yeah, first one as a Lion. I mean, he was, let's not say he was chugging, but he got in there.
He got in. He found pay dirt. Khalif Raymond.
Khalif Raymond, 4 catches,
Yeah.
55 yards.
Yeah.
Needed a huge game. I don't know if Reynolds was hurt. I know he was gimpy coming into the game, but he obviously had no effect on today's game. Raymond stepped up with a couple catches, couple big catches, too, when we were watching it in the first half.
Yes.
He got us a couple good possession receptions there. So all in all, I thought it was a really good game. And your boy Bam Bam, right?
Bam Bam.
Bam
Well,
Bam.
I think it's just Bam.
Just Bam, okay. Not
I don't think
Bam
it's full
Bam.
Bam Bam.
Not Bam Bam.
I know we were talking about Pebbles earlier this week, but I think it's just Bam.
Yeah.
Was it Bam Knight?
Yeah, Bam Knight, a couple carries, nothing crazy, but it's just good to see, hey, we're getting something, should I say, out of our backups, because I just don't see, if Montgomery didn't play this week, how he's going to play in 4 days at Green Bay on the road.
Right.
The people who, though, have not, like, I'm glad people are filling in and we do have some more depth, but some guy who just really has done, I mean, did Marv have how many snaps did Marv play
I didn't
today?
even see him out there, to be honest with you.
He got that one penalty, the illegal contact in the end zone.
He got that?
Yes, that was, remember the guy penalized him in the back of the end zone. Other than that, I don't remember him seeing the field.
Yeah, he's been really quiet.
I mean, and that's okay. You know, he wasn't going to come out there and be like a focal point for our offense. He's a filler. You know, he's a veteran filler.
All right, well, that was the Lions. You guys want to move on to the other NFL games?
Let's do it.
Should we just run down the list here?
Let's do it.
So I got them kind of in order of what I guess ESPN's going to give me. So first one on the list is Colts winning 22-19 on the road versus the Ravens. RIP to everyone's moneyline parlay on that one.
Yep.
Ravens were missing a ton of people, but that was the battle of who wants it less.
Yeah, that was. Neither team wanted to win the game at the end of it, and that was probably a big for a lot of survivor leagues out there. I'm sure a lot of people had Baltimore today, so RIP to them, folks.
So it's like, is Baltimore like for real at all, or are they just this team that makes no sense?
I think it's just a bad game. Overlooking it, backup quarterback start, and you started 2-0. Beating the Bengals last week on the road was a good victory. It's just the NFL, right? You can't overlook anybody, and once you do, you get caught and you get humbled real quick. So I don't think it's a trend. I think it's a bad game, and I think they'll be all right.
And this is like the week, you know, like week 3 where you're trying to connect dots of like, okay, well, this team beat that team and this team beat this team. Like, who's good and who's not? And I feel like this week just put us further.
Blew it away.
In a pretzel.
Yes.
Yeah, like nothing makes sense. It's like the Falcons are 2-0. Everyone kind of thought they were untested, but then we beat them, but it wasn't like as clean of a break maybe as we would have liked.
Yep.
I thought the Colts were terrible. They somehow have a 2-1 record with Gardner Minshew in the game.
I fucks with Gardner, dude.
I know you do. That's
He's a
your
baller,
guy.
dude.
No, I like him too, dude.
Yeah.
And he keeps finding a job.
I agree. I mean, he must be doing something right, and I swear every time he does fill in, he's like good to like keep the game really close or go ahead and just win it for you.
Dude, you know who needs to call him?
Jets?
The fucking Jets.
Jets, because that team, STINKS,
Nice. Absolutely. Let's talk about that game. So I'm going to group these two together. We can kind of talk about them at once, if you will. But, like, Patriots, Jets, and then Titans, Browns. I know, like, different score, different action in that one. But, like, those are like the two, like, forget about them games of the day for me.
Absolute garbage.
Disinteresting.
Yeah, disinteresting.
Great for the under, though. Great for the under.
Yeah, that's right. You hit that one.
I did.
Yeah.
I will say I called Deshaun Watson the worst signing possibly in NFL history. Bounced back a little bit today. Good win at home with the Browns. And then I don't know. I mean, Jets are god awful. They have to trade for Kirk Cousins
Now.
or any other quarterback that's
Minshew.
available. Minshew. Hey, maybe Stafford's available. I don't know. They got to trade for somebody
With a
because
pulse.
they are. I mean, Zach Wilson. I think we were laughing. It was midway through the fourth. He had 50 yards passing.
Yeah.
So they are terrible. And I'll say this: the Patriots might be just as bad because they only beat them by 5 points. They've looked underwhelming all year as well. I think the Patriots could be a 4-win team this year, 5-win team this year, which we haven't seen in 20, 25 years.
Yeah.
And I am, like, on the side of the fence. Like, I'm not really a Belichick believer anymore. I mean, he is, like, 11 or 12 games under 500 since Brady left.
Yep.
So it's like, who saved who?
Yep.
Who saved who?
That's the question you have to ask yourself.
You need each other.
You do.
And Brady went and won another Super Bowl, and Belichick really hasn't done shit since.
Anything.
No.
And that whole team
They should have never
is-
traded Jimmy G.
is just like a Quinn Trisha.
It is.
Like, that's what that team is.
Wasn't he calling the plays for him, Patricia?
On offense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That was
maybe
last
that's
year.
why
There you
they're
go.
so
But he's
bad.
gone now.
Yeah.
He's not doing it anymore. So those were two boring ones. Browns and Titans, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Titans just got
They
thumped.
looked like shit, yeah.
The Titans might be the least exciting team in the NFL.
They're
Pretty
not-
boring.
They're not.
They're not
good
even
at all.
so bad that you can, like, watch them.
Right.
They just, like, make no sense, and they're so forgettable.
And Derrick Henry's a shell of himself now. It's like he really declined at a rapid pace here these past couple games, and I guess just going into this season. So that's a boring team. Browns' defense is very good, though. I mean, they didn't lose that game last week to the Steelers because of their defense. They lost it because they gave up 2 defensive touchdowns.
Yeah, and speaking of the Browns, I got to bring us back to Tailgate. We ran into this guy out at Tailgate, ultimate Browns fan. Wearing,
Full gear.
Yeah, brown hat, orange helmet logo, and then he's got the brown jersey, orange lettering, Odell Beckham, Browns jersey. And we're just like, he was just like so oblivious to like kind of everything. We're just like, so like, why are you a big Browns fan? He's like, oh, you know, so you got to root for the Browns. And we're just kind of like, all right, like, what are you gonna, all right, like, why, you know? And we're just like, okay, if you could get a jersey, who would you get? He's like, Deshaun Watson. And he's like, I'm really looking forward to seeing this Ford guy. And I'm like, you're the most optimistic fan I've ever met. Most people are like Chubb's out. That's all I can think about.
Right.
And this guy's just looking forward to seeing Ford.
I asked him, I'm like, what do you think about massage parlors? And he's like, oh, well, as long as you leave feeling pretty loose and limber, they're good with me.
Yeah.
Maybe
Buddy.
he was big braining you, though. Maybe that was the act.
I want to believe that, but I just don't. I don't think he big brained
I think he was oblivious to anything going on in the
He did not
organization.
get the massage reference at all. He's like, "What do you think of massage parlors?" Right after saying he'd buy a Deshaun Watson jersey, and he's like, "Well, yeah." Like Pisa says, he's like, as long as I get out of there feeling limber, I think they're pretty worth it. And we're just like, "All right, man.
Well, you're right.
Have a good one." Oh, guys, Bears are on the board.
Oh,
The Bears are on the board. So we're watching this is new thing for the Fizz here. We're recording during the witching hour, or like the halftime of the 4 o'clock game. So we are watching the Chiefs absolutely drub the Bears. We're actually seeing more of Taylor Swift than we're seeing of the actual game.
God, dude, it's making me sick.
But it is 41-3.
I got a question. Who do we see more this week on all the national networks? Deion Sanders or Taylor Swift?
Oh man.
I think Taylor
Taylor's
Swift, no
queen, yeah,
doubt.
it's gonna be Taylor.
She has
Swift.
dominated the TV today.
Yes,
Okay.
she has.
Even when Kelsey's not making the play, they still go to her and they're like, oh, look, and she's happy they scored.
Yeah, Pacheco scored a touchdown and they cut to her. That's not who she's dating.
All right.
I mean, I got to be honest. Like, I'm a big Taylor Swift fan. I don't need her to cut to her every time like that. And honestly, I was just kind of disappointed to see that the rumors were true. I was pretty bummed. I don't think she's a Travis Kelce kind of guy.
No, I thought he was saying during the week how like he was kind of playing hard, or she was kind of playing hard to get, and then they show before the kickoff, her sitting next to his mom.
Yeah.
It's not even like her in the stands yet. Like, she's sitting next to his mom.
Yeah,
like,
that's not hard to
slow things
get.
down a little, huh?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I'm not up on this pop culture stuff.
I was just bummed to see her with
Speaking of the
Chelsea.
Bears, I mean, how
Speak
about
now.
the NFC North as a whole? Like,
Yeah.
it couldn't be more for the taking. Like, the Bears are be a 4 or 5 win team.
I don't think they're going to win that many.
Well, right. I
Yeah.
mean, they're bad. Vikings don't look good at all. They haven't won a game yet.
Yeah, Vikings are 0-3. Bears are about to be 0-3. Packers beat a Derek Carr-less Saints to get to 2-1.
Scraped back at the end of that game, too.
I mean, I know we're going to talk about it more on the next episode or, later this week, but I look at that Packers game, and we watched a lot of it today. They look terrible.
Yeah.
Although they pulled out a W and they eked one out today, it took 18 points in the last 16 minutes to get it done. So Packers look terrible. Vikings might trade Kirk Cousins, depending on his situation. And I think we all agree upon it. Bears are probably a bottom 3 team in the league. They might be drafting another quarterback this year.
They have to.
Yeah.
So with that, it's for the taking, and it's laid out right in front of us now. And even the NFC as a whole. I mean, you look at the NFC as a whole, the Eagles have been underwhelming to start the year off. The Cowboys are losing on the road to the Cardinals right now after losing their top cornerback this week. Other than the Niners, no one's looked that great in the NFC. And other than the Dolphins, no one's looked that great so far in the AFC.
Yeah.
The Dolphins scored 70 points today. 70. That is a video game score. It is 70-20. Every time we looked up at the screen, they were scoring again.
And doing, like, crazy plays, too, like no-look pitches over the middle, like pitches that they run over the guard on, like just stuff that it's like it was almost like they were experimenting with their playbook.
Literally
and just putting
everything
up
was
numbers.
working. You know, they couldn't run something that didn't work for 20-plus yards in a tug.
Yeah.
Mozart had 4 touchdowns, and who was the other guy, the running back for them? He had 4.
Akane.
Yeah, Akane.
Akane.
He had 4 touchdowns, too.
He had 4?
Yes, 2 running, 2 passing, or receiving.
That's absolutely out of control.
Yeah.
Dude, and the Cardinals are, like, going to beat Dallas, like, on the road. Or not on the road.
And I know that we already proclaimed the Bears as maybe the worst team in the league. Texans are probably down there as well, but Broncos got to be a bottom 3 team, no?
They're so
what
bad.
is wrong there?
That is a bad situation. I don't want to put it all on Russ, but at the end of the day, you're supposed to be a $250 million quarterback. Like, you have to be better than what you've been. You lost at home to the Raiders and the Commanders, and then you get pummeled by 50 on the road. I mean, they are in a world
Dire
of
straits.
trouble. I think still this year they're still strapped for draft capital too because of that Russell Wilson trade. So it might take another 2 to 3 years for them to turn this thing around. But I'm surprised. I didn't think they were going to be world beaters this year. I thought they were going to be around 500. But to be 0-3, lose to the teams they lost to, and then how they lost today, they've got to be a bottom 3 or 5 team right now in the league.
And Sean Payton just has to regret coming back to
Oh,
college.
he cannot be having fun over there.
No, I just don't get how they're so bad.
Is he going to pull an Urban Meyer?
Oh,
Just
my
like
God.
say he wants family time or like
Go
have a heart
touch a chick
attack.
at his hometown. And, yeah.
Fake a stroke.
yeah, complain about chest pains. Dude, mind-blowing. Okay, Bills take care of the Commanders. Dude, there's a lot of teams who, like, didn't score a touchdown today.
No, there was a lot of blowouts today.
Commanders didn't score a touchdown. The Titans didn't score a touchdown.
Falcons.
The Falcons didn't score a touchdown. The Bears don't have a touchdown.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy. Craziness.
I guess the most surprising game for me today would have to be Houston dominating Jacksonville. They weren't in that game at all.
No.
Trevor Lawrence has looked like shit to start the year. I don't know what's up with Jacksonville's defense, too. I mean, they are absolute Swiss cheese. They got a lot of problems to figure out over there in Jayville.
Yeah, the only bigger surprise is going to be if the Cardinals beat the Cowboys here. And I think, did they just turn the Cowboys over?
I don't know if they did or didn't. All I know is if Jacksonville like continues to have problems, they might need to call Urban back and
Yeah.
see if they can right the ship back with him.
Well, that's what they're saying about they're going to bring him to MSU.
Please.
Come on in, Herb.
Please. I would be on my knees for a week if I could have that happen.
Oh, you want it?
I do want it, yes.
I want Urban, too.
They're never going to do it.
They could never get him. But
They're never gonna do
yes,
it.
I do. If I had to sign off on it, I would.
So I guess I know we talked about the Chargers beating the Vikings, but did we talk about like how that happened?
Not really at all.
Yeah.
I will say this, and this goes, hand in hand with this game. Some of the most boneheaded in-game coaching decisions I've ever seen in an NFL week happened this week. Two big ones in the Vikings-Chargers game. Chargers go for it on 4th and 1 on their own 24, up 4 with 1:40 left. Vikings had no timeouts. On the road, get stuffed, and unfortunately for the Vikings, they couldn't capitalize on it. Staley didn't pay for his poor decision, but to not only have that big of a boneheaded decision, but then to follow it up and one-up them later that game and have the Vikings run off 25 seconds on the clock when they only had 40 seconds left. They were on the 5. They huddled up. They kind of huddled. They scrambled. They couldn't get set, and they ended up throwing a pick on that play because, they really didn't know what they were doing from what it looked like. And they did what the Lions did last week. They did the exact same thing where the Lions had 56 seconds left. They took 30 seconds to run a play. The Vikings had 40 seconds left. They took 25 seconds. I'm just not sure how in the NFL, where you practice so much and have so few games, that you don't know as a head coach and as players clock management in the 2-minute drill.
Yeah. I like, and just for even Cousins not to run up and just spike that thing.
Right, exactly.
Like, I don't understand it. Like, stop the clock and figure it out later. You got a fresh set of downs.
Right, exactly.
And then he just throws a 100-mile-an-hour missile for an interception. It's crazy to me.
Vrabel had the same thing happen in the Tennessee game right before half. Yep. They had the ball. I think they were like on the 20 or 25. There was about 10 seconds left. They had no timeouts. They run a pass play, get sacked, and then just pack it in and head to the locker room. Didn't even try to spike it. Nothing. You think you'd want to get some points before half, but fuck, what do I know?
Yeah.
These aren't even analytics plays either. I know we kind of looked at each other when the Packers went for 2 when they were down 8, and we're like, why are they doing it? It ended up working out in their favor. They won by 1 because of that 2-point conversion, but that's like an analytics play. These other plays are not analytics. It's just
common sense.
Boneheaded.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's just like panicking in the pressure moment.
Yes, trying to be too smart and too aggressive and that guy. It's sometimes you don't have to go out and win the game. You just have to not lose the game when you're in situations where it's so much in your favor.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and we even if you're thinking about college football, I don't know what Florida State and Clemson were doing at the end of regulation there. I mean, that was bonkers to me as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, I guess once you're in those moments and it's just chaos and there's 100 things going on and people just probably lose track of time and shit like that. Or I don't know. It's probably a lot easier said than done.
Yep.
But it is just sometimes you look at it and you're like, you don't even need to be a football expert to know that you just need more time to do that stuff.
But don't they have people in the headsets and on the sidelines and being like there's got to be someone there. Football staffs are so big. You have 20, 25, 30 guys with quality control, coordinators, position coaches. No one can tell you, hey, coach, here's what's going on. Here's how many timeouts you have left. Hey, it's this much time on the clock. How does 25, 30 seconds lapse? Or how do you come out of a timeout and not know what you're doing?
Yeah.
When you have so many people involved and aware of what's going on an in-game situation.
Yeah, and speaking of that, too, I kind of think in the Lions game today that Dan Campbell throwing that challenge flag on Tracy Walker's drop is terrible. I wonder if that's just him getting excited and throwing the flag, but it's hard for me to believe that. I can believe that, but I kind of feel like someone in his headset was like, toss the flag, and then that was just bad intel.
He was pretty conservative today. He didn't go for it once on 4th down. A lot of punts that I thought we could have even maybe tried to sneak in a 1st down when we had the ball in their territory, but it worked out for him. I think he kind of realized after the Seattle game that I gotta fucking tone it down.
Yeah. I mean, the only blunder really was that flag. Mm-hmm. I thought there was one clock issue too. I thought there was one weird clock thing he might have messed up, but I could be wrong. Just thinking of him in general, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
Not too much action though today for the Sunday 1:00 slate. Most of the games were blowouts besides 2. And
the Patriots-Jets wasn't a blowout, but it was so boring.
Right.
And
You
then,
forgot it
like,
was on.
Saints-Packers was kind of just like a sneaky come from behind,
Yes.
you know? And, like, the other close one, like, Ravens-Colts, again, was like no one wanted that game. It was, like, bad football.
yeah.
It wasn't the best week overall of football.
Yeah.
It really wasn't like that. There wasn't that many great games. And even the close games, like you said, weren't entertaining close games.
Yeah, don't worry. It'll get made up tonight with Steelers-Raiders.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah,
That should be a really good. But Monday we have some decent games. Well, not really. Eagles at Bucks. I mean, that's 2 undefeateds actually.
right.
The Bucks are the real deal.
Baker half unit.
Yeah, Baker half unit.
Don't
Then we got
forget
a
it.
rematch of the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Rams Bengals. Old Super Bowl matchup there. Any other notes from the NFL week?
Not really too
My
many
boys.
from the NFL week. I mean, if you want the NFL news, we got that
We do.
note.
We want
got
that.
the note of Usher playing at the Super Bowl this year. He's going to be the halftime show. So I just kind of want instant reaction from you guys. Like and or dislike Usher being the Super Bowl act this year.
Like or dislike, I guess that's tough. I'm kind of like neutral. I'm like unexcited about it.
Okay.
I know people are huge Usher fans, and he has like probably a bigger catalog than I can even like. I probably know songs I don't even know or by him or like that I forgot about. Doesn't really spark excitement or joy for me. It's just kind of like, oh, okay, Usher got the Super Bowl, good for him.
Yep.
That's about it. I'm not excited. I'm not bummed.
Okay.
It just is like, all right, Usher's coming.
What about you, Lou?
I'm pretty close. I feel the same way, Frank. Like I feel like he's past his prime. Like the lust or the shine kind of rubbed off a little bit. Like I loved Usher in high school. Like he had a ton of jams. I feel like it's a little more like softer, like R&B type music too. Like I want to get uppy and like get up and at him for the Super Bowl. I want a little more fucking like Nickelback. Crazy bitch.
You want
like,
Nickelback?
Nickelback.
You want Nickelback and
You want
Crazy
uppy
Bitch.
and get up and at him,
Yeah.
and then you drop Nickelback.
And then he
as a
says
suggestion.
Crazy Bitch, which is by Buck Cherry.
I need some more action, dude. I mean, Usher doesn't.
I mean, he's got That song's hype as shit.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel indifferent about it. I'm not.
I will
I'm not
say,
happy about
I feel
it.
like the NFL is just going after us, like the 26 to like 35-year-old
Yep.
age, or even like older. I'd probably say like
40,
like 30 to
45.
45,
Yeah.
because last year they had all of our boys. They had Dr. Dre, Eminem, 50
No,
Cent.
Rihanna last year.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Rihanna
Rihanna
last year. My
last
bad.
year.
2
Year
years
before.
ago was our boys.
Yep.
That was awesome.
And I just feel like all the ads are like these nostalgia ads
Yep.
of like our generation and all that. And I feel like they're just going after us like big time, because they're saying this is the youngest generation still actually watching the halftime show and
Yep.
watching TV. Everyone else is just on their phones.
And it's
Yeah.
funny because that, like, there was a while where, like, they had, like, Paul McCartney and the Rolling Stones, and it was like they were targeting, like, our parents at that point.
Baby
Yeah.
boomers.
And now they're kind of making that transition.
And what's funny is when they had the Stones and stuff, like their biggest sponsors were like Cialis and Viagra. Like it's, yeah. What were you going to
Makes
say though?
sense.
Sorry, I cut you off.
No. I was just going to say, like, it hasn't gone, like, full-blown, like, Gen Z yet. Like,
Yes.
you know, like, Bad Bunny's not going to,
Yeah.
like,
Or, like,
headline
Ice
just
Spice.
yet. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Whoever that is.
Exactly. Like, they haven't gone fully there yet, but it's, like, kind of creeping towards that, and I feel like they're going to dip their toe in the next couple years.
Yeah. Yeah.
To be honest with you, I really don't watch the halftime show at the Super Bowl much anyway, though. Like, I feel like I'm always buzzing around, like, putting in action, gambling a little bit on the side, playing pool, darts, something like that. So it's like, it's kind of indifferent for me, you know? I don't really care.
Yeah. I watch it. I definitely sit down and give it a peep.
I mean, I'm going to peep it. I'm excited because I think Usher could bring out some good guests.
Yeah.
Because he's been, he's had his footprint in the music industry for the better half of, 2.5 decades now. He obviously was a big influence on Justin Bieber. He's very close to Ludacris.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there should be some good guests. And obviously, when you bring guests, sometimes they spin off their songs.
Yeah.
So it's not just hey, this is who Usher has, or hey, he's known for his R&B, but he's got some other guys that maybe could bring the energy, kind of like Nickelback would.
Of course. They should have just let Luda headline. That would have been awesome. I would be all
Okay,
for
man.
Luda headlining.
This isn't a Fast and the Furious movie.
It's for family.
Well, like, yeah, and I would like to think you're right on that, but it was wild. Like Rihanna had nobody,
That's true.
which was crazy. But normally they have the guests. And you would like to think that Usher would come out and bring, like, Ludacris for sure. Bieber would be huge, but that would almost be like an upstage.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, that's the biggest news out of the NFL.
That's about it today outside of
Taylor
the regular
Swift.
stuff.
Yeah, and Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
right.
I heard they asked Taylor to do the halftime
Yeah,
show,
she
and she
said
said
no.
no.
Yeah,
You're
she
right.
said
Why
Yeah.
would you, though, for her?
Yeah.
No, right.
There's no reason.
You don't
Your
get
shows
paid.
are going $1,000 a seat anyway. Like,
Yeah.
how much bigger are you going to get? Like you said, you don't really get paid, and you're doing the Super Bowl for publicity reasons
Right.
Yeah.
at that point in time. So, I don't know. Super Bowl's a long way away. Hopefully we're watching the Lions in that game, and we get a little break with Usher.
Amen.
Did Dak just get picked off in
Yeah.
the end zone?
Yeah, they're going to lose.
Oh, my God. That's horrible. That's horrible, horrible news for a parlay I have.
But the Bears did score a touchdown, so they're only down 31 now.
More horrible news. All right. Well, that seems like the NFL wrap-up. I'm all pissed off now because I'm going to lose my big parlay because Dallas decided to lose to the worst team in the NFL with Romeo Dobbs at fucking quarterback.
Romeo
That's not even who it is,
Villanueva.
right?
Josh Dobbs.
Josh Dobbs. Jesus.
Josh Dobbs. J. Dobbs.
All right, you guys want to do a little over-under and call it a Sunday?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. All right, Jerry sent the over-unders again this week. He says LGRW, the Hornies are 9-2.
Wow.
Wow.
I
They're
know
already
Hornies.
playing?
I didn't even know the season started. Apparently, they
Yeah, it's the
popped
same
in
as high school football season.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But Jesus, 11
games in?
That's a lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
They
right.
probably do like 2 a week some of the weeks. That's why.
Yeah,
So
probably.
they're buzzing. Hornies. Go
Go
Hornies,
Hornies.
dude.
Go Hornies, baby. Nice. Hot start. Good work, boys. All right, number one on the list for over-under. We'll start with Chaney football. Number one, high school reunions.
High school reunions. So I actually helped. I was one of 3 people who helped plan our 10-year high school reunion. Did it at the local Hamlin pub. We sent out a Google sheet saying, like, how much do you want to spend? Do you want it in a more casual or a more upscale setting? Like, we kind of surveyed everyone, got it all together, ended up in the old back room at the Hamlin pub right by Eisenhower High School. And it was great. It was great seeing everyone. There was people that came that, like, we went to a high school with a graduating class of about 700 people. So, like, there were people I maybe knew in junior high and I never saw in high school. And then they came to the reunion, and it was kind of good getting to know them, you know, and catching up with them. So I believe high school reunions are underrated.
All right, good answer. Wholesome answer. I'm going to just say they're overrated. I see everyone from my high school probably that I need to see. My high school actually asked me to be to help organize with like alumni relations with my class, and I declined to do it. I have no interest, zero interest. I see enough of my my high school buddies. I don't need a reunion. I'll see them on the streets. Overrated.
Yeah, I'm gonna say underrated as well. I do like kind of catching up with people that I don't get to talk to all the time just to see how they're doing. And you do one every 10 years, one every 20 years. So once in a while, I think it's not a bad thing. I'll go with underrated.
Good for you guys. You guys are more wholesome than I am. Number 2 on the list, me, cornhole. I love cornhole. I feel like it's gotten like overblown and overhyped. Like in the world, like there's like professional cornholers and people who don't miss a shot. So for that aspect, I will just call it like overrated, but I love to play in like a backyard, not taking it too serious or anything like that. But like we did like the cornhole tournament at Ford Field, and we just lost like 21-0 on like however many shots that math adds up to be.
Yeah.
And it was just like they had gloves on and jerseys and like were like laughing at us at our form and stuff. And I was just like, okay, this has become too serious. There's no way this should ever have any professional aspect to it at all.
Yeah.
So I'll say overrated.
The real
for that.
question is, would you beat Jesse James in cornhole?
Absolutely not. No, he couldn't get anyone to play us. Was he like low key trying to get someone to play us, or like get us to play him? I mean,
I guess. I mean, he was all over the place. He was getting mic'd up, and then he was talking about Aaron Rodgers retiring.
Yeah.
It was,
What do you say? The 4-bagger.
yeah, and he was doing a shocker.
shocker.
Yeah, it was all over the place. What did I ask him about that he went into cornhole? I forgot the question I even asked him.
It was not
It
relevant
had nothing to do
cornhole
with
at all.
it. Nothing at all. Nothing at all.
Cornhole, I think, is overrated. I actually don't like cornhole at all.
Wow.
I think it's fucking boring and stupid. Any moron can throw a fucking beanbag at a board. Let's play horseshoes. Let's play jarts. Get the old sharpened up. Let them fly.
Ladder golf.
Yep. Ladder golf's aight, but cornhole, I think I'm not a cornhole person. Overrated.
Yeah, I'm going to second this with Lou. I mean, I'll casually throw one around or whatnot, but it's overrated. I don't know. Very simple game, pretty boring, kind of played out. I'm not a fan of it. Overrated.
Lawn darts or jarts and horseshoes are better because you can hurt someone too.
Correct.
Yeah. There's always there's an element of pain involved if you're not careful. All right, number 3 on the list. You're leading off. Lou Holtz.
Lou Holtz.
Lou for Lou Holtz.
Underrated. His interviews are hilarious. He's a legendary coach. Keep him on the TV as long as you can. I love the skits. I think they're fucking hilarious when he's just brain dead up there, fried, talking out of his ass. Underrated.
I love Lou Holtz. I think he's great. I think he was a great analyst. I think he's a great coach. I think he's great for the whole game of college football. Obviously, a legendary coach, won a national title. Lou Holtz, underrated.
Yeah, there's no way I could say a cross word about Lou Holtz. I grew up a Notre Dame fan, fighting Irish. Loved him my whole life until I went to Michigan State, essentially. Most legendary lisp in college football. The fact that he got called out by Ohio State's Coach Day after that game is just fucking bonkers.
Caught a stray.
And he's like, I want to know where Lou Holtz is. And the best tweet I saw was someone tweet, Lou Holtz doesn't know where Lou Holtz is. So Lou Holtz, underrated. Don't pick on an old man who doesn't know what he's saying on TV. Yeah. And you have a long way to go before your Lou Holtz status.
Correct.
Ryan Day. All right, number 4 on the list. Here we go, Chandler. Usher.
Wow.
Jerry,
Usher.
Jerry, very topical. Very nice.
Relevant. Very relevant. Usher is underrated. One of the 5 best R&B singers of all time. We grew up with him, and the thing is, he's timeless. He came out in the 90s. He had hits. He had hits in the 2000s. He had hits when we were in college, and he's still coming up with stuff. And again, like I alluded to earlier, the proteges. He's got a footprint. You know, it's like these coaches that have these coaching webs where you see 4 assistants come from one guy, like a Nick Saban or something. I feel like Usher has that ability where a lot of people learned from him and then became something after they were under him. So Usher is underrated.
Oh yeah. Me?
I think so.
I think so too. Usher is underrated for sure. Generational talent. They don't make him like him. He's got some bangers. I got nothing bad to say. I'm not a super fan of Usher at all, but I know he's talented as all hell, so I'll say he's underrated. He's got the fucking Super Bowl. Underrated.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you guys. I think he's underrated. Do I think him being at the Super Bowl, that's overrated to me, but Usher as a whole, I think is underrated. He was probably like the first R&B singer that I actually dialed into. He has a ton of great songs. They're just from 2004. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
he doesn't really age, though. He looks the exact same.
Yeah, no, he doesn't. And his songs are timeless, So
Can I ask you a side question? Is that illegal and over underrated?
No, there's no rules.
Okay, gotcha. Lou, who's better, Usher or Nickelback?
Nickelback, it's not even a question. I'm not fucking around either.
It's apples to oranges. I struggle with that question, too.
Anyone who hates Nickelback can go fuck themselves.
I do feel like it was cool to hate Nickelback. No one really but there's no reason to actually hate them.
They're they have some of the top record sales ever all time.
All right. Let's calm down. Let's calm down before you get fucked.
Don't let me get going.
Number
on Nickelback.
Number 5 to close this long ass Sunday. Number 5, Lou, or is it? Yeah, it's Lou.
Yep.
Jesus, apple cider.
Channy, is it you?
No, it's Frank. It's Frank.
Is it me?
Yeah.
Jesus.
We're
apple
over.
cider. Apple cider. This is tough. I think it just does its job. I'll probably say it's overrated. I just drink it seasonally. I'm never gonna buy that outside of the month of October, ever, and I'm never craving it. And I feel like every time if I buy a gallon or a half gallon of it, I end up dumping half of it out. I need it once a year with a donut at a cider mill, and then I'm all set. So I'd say if that's the only time I need the drink, it's got to be overrated for how many units that shit sells. No one's guzzling that all year. Overrated apple cider.
I'll say, man, that's a tough one too, because I'm with you on that. I'm gonna say underrated because it is a seasonal thing. I only have it once in a while in the fall. It's a great mixer for whiskey or bourbon as well. So underrated.
All right.
I think we've had this one before because I hate cider. I absolutely hate cider. I think it's overrated. It's thick. It's disgusting. It doesn't quench your thirst at all. Some people drink it warm. Some people drink it cold. It sucks either way. It sucks with liquor. It sucks straight up. It sucks with ice, donuts. You can't have a good apple cider no matter how you serve it. Apple cider, overrated.
All right. Well, I think that was pretty cut and dry.
Chandler doesn't like apple cider.
Yeah, no, you love Nickelback and he hates apple cider. That's how we're going to end this show. Well, thank you guys for joining us and you guys for being here on the first Fizz Sunday that we've had. Hopefully we can keep this going, working out some of the scheduling and how we're going to run this thing. But I think overall today was a pretty good day. We got some good interviews of people on the street, and best of all, the Lions got a W, and we are 2-1. So if you are listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please write us a review. If you're watching on YouTube, like this video and subscribe, and just follow us everywhere. We appreciate all your support, and we will see you guys later this week for another podcast. Thanks for listening, guys.
Go Lions. Fuck the Packers.
See you, everybody. Have a great week.
See ya.